Good morning, everybody. So I did part one of this, and I just wanted to show I got all my gems in here. Some of them that I didn't put in are ones where there was more than one packet of them. I do have enough empty to go ahead and put them in. Like this one, I got 3 of. Yeah, so there is enough to put them all in a jar if we want to, because I have enough empties to do that. More than one jar of different colors. There's some letters that aren't in here. Which one was it? I've got one in here that I went ahead and wrote the letter, and then there wasn't any with that letter on here, but there were next letters. So I thought she had said that each kit has their own, like they're not numbered the same depending on the kit you got. But then I'm wondering, why aren't these all solid? Why would there be empties? I don't know what I did with the one. There's one in here somewhere. It's in order, but there's none of them. W. So the other thing I want to say is, here it is done. Let me fold it. So this is it done. I got, looks like an extra one here. Some of the spots are just kind of odd. Like that is supposed to be a bunch of different ones. Some spots, like this spot here, it looks like an empty spot. It could have used one. I'm going to take this one. Oh. No, I'm not, because it just went flying. Okay, let me put this straight back down. So that looks like an empty spot. So I'm going to try to find like one that kind of matches and set it in here. There was some that I missed, and when you get them all filled in, you can clearly see that you missed one. See, that looks like it could use another one right there. Here, that looks like it could use one filled in right there. I gotta get it turned over. There we go. And you can still move them, as you can see. I'm still moving some. Here, that looks like an empty spot that could still use one, even though it doesn't have a letter for it. The spot just looks empty. And I didn't want to do this without you all seeing that I was going to do this. Like right here, that looks like that could use one. the other thing I wanted to say was, what was it? Make sure you're covering the letters. If you don't get the letters covered, it does not look good. Now it's backwards. It's upside down. But you can usually move them enough. There's a pink one. Looks like it needs one. I thought there were several spaces on the pink that looked like they could use them, that didn't have them. It's a darker pink. That might be it. See? Just fill that space in. I swore that it looked like there were quite a few of the pink. That one's one that's actually calling for a letter right there that I missed. See, so to get it in, you gotta kind of move these, but the spot just looks, I guess that's just a low one. All right, let's just put that back in there. I guess there wasn't as much pink missing as I thought. Don't be afraid to go back in and get more wax on your thing. Another thing I noticed is sometimes they're a little hard to move around in here, to get them to move around so that they flip back over. Put more in there. When you have a lot in there, then it's really easy to do and it's worth it. It's going to save you time. Even if you have to put more back in the jar, it's going to be worth it. The one that's missing here is a K. The letter. I can see the letter. But if you don't cover them letters up that white or that black, then it's written in looks real bad. So you want to make sure you're covering up the letters in there. Okay. And like I said, they still move. You do not want to send this to somebody like this, because they are not going to be where they're supposed to be. So I had gotten a kit before and I never finished. I think it was ornaments last year or something like that. And I just quit working on them because the pieces just kept moving and stuff. So this time, I went ahead and bought um, the sealer that they had on HSN, and we're gonna try it. And so we need a wipe because she said to wipe it when you're done. So I'm gonna grab a wipe here and a brush. I don't know what size brush I want. think I think a fairly small sized one probably. Stick that back down in there. So because I'm not real sure what she said about whether I thought she had said that every kit has their own number of gems. Their gems are their own numbers. So the letters or whatever are not going to be the same from one kit to another. But like I said, I don't know why I'm missing some and not the other, so I'm going to have to try to go back and try to find that. It was on HSN. Now, I'm going to use the sealer straight. But there is stuff in here that, I've got some paperwork and stuff where it said you could thin this stuff down. But I'm just going to use it straight this time. I've got one here that's not right. Yeah, I guess it was. It's just not really cut right, I guess, so it's a little bit lower. So, and I'm just going to go in, and she said to get it down in there, make sure it's going down in there. This brush might actually be too small. And it's supposed to dry clear, and really it just smells like glue. And I'm going to make sure that even these outside ones have some on them. Because if it makes them shinier or whatever, I want to make sure that they all have the shiny on them if they need it. But she did say to make sure you got the stuff down in there. It's pretty thick. I can see why she says to thin it out. But I did for this first one want to do it straight on. And we want to get it down in there, all of it. I don't know how thick it's supposed to be. But I do know it's supposed to dry clear. So I'm making this today. And I fully intend to get it up today because I did the other video and I wanted this to come out basically right up next after it so you could see it all without, waiting. But this could end up taking as much time as doing the actual project. This brush is probably just too small. I probably should be using a bigger brush. Oh, that's going to be hard to see is the white ones. See, even this brush is kind of moving them. Not all of them, but some of them. So I don't know how fast this dries. So I'm going to come in with the white now with some of these first ones that I did. And use that wipe and it's kind of helping to get it in. But I'm a little afraid of them moving around. So I got it a little bit thicker in here. Okay, let's go back to it. Whoa, that went down in farther than I wanted it to. Don't think I had enough right here. Now leave in the comments if you know anything that I don't, or you have any tips or anything like that for people. So then they could go back and read the comments and they'll know. Sometimes I try to bring up points or try things that people say, but sometimes I just am forgetful. So as I want everybody to have all the information. So my big unhappiness with it when I got the other kit was them moving around so easily, even after they sat. So I'm thinking that maybe with this stuff, this sealer, that won't be a problem. And I'll enjoy doing it. It was kind of nice last night. Just sitting here finishing this. Just sitting here. It's kind of a little bit mindless. I mean, not completely. You gotta pay attention because... So they're lettered, but there's uppercase and lowercase, and that makes a difference because those are different colored crystals, which they're not really crystals. But well, this is really going to take a long time. You can see I keep putting more on the brush and more on the brush. Trying to kind of make the process a little bit quicker. I wouldn't be worried too much if it wasn't a video. But because I am doing a video, I know you don't want to sit here forever watching this. And what I'll do is do this. Yeah, I'm going to come back with my wipe again. See, some of them are coming up. They're moving. And I feel like they're moving because I'm messing with them. And they just don't stay in place that well. See? Put some more on. Can you see the difference when I wipe it off or not? I'm going to probably have to go with a bigger brush, but if I don't keep this one wet and go in and clean it right away, then I'm thinking that this brush is going to go in the trash because it's going to be all stuck with glue. And I think I'm getting ready to say that that's going to be okay if I have to throw this brush away. I tried cleaning it some with the wipe. I think this wipe is ready for the trash anyway, so we'll see if that dries well. I'm going to get a bigger brush. None of my brushes are especially expensive brushes. Let me get another wipe. So if I had a very nice brush, that I paid a lot of money for, I would not use it for this. So don't go getting your, because it's glue, right? So don't go grabbing your expensive brushes to do this with. As a matter of fact, if you don't have cheap brushes, it might be worth it to just run to Dollar Tree or something and grab some cheap brushes for this. I see why they say about thinning it down now, because it would probably be easier to get it down inside the little nooks and crannies. But like I said, I wanted to do the first one at least. See, that picked that one up. Where if it's runny, it'll be easier to get it in there. The paper says how much to delete it. I don't remember. And I'm not going to go look for it right now. Not in the middle of all of this. This one is just a regular sealer. I did buy the two where one is a shimmer and one is just the regular sealer. Maybe not so much brushing as patting it on. Also, if you dilute it down, it's going to go farther, right? It would last you longer. I'm kind of debating whether I should leave a piece of it undone so we could compare the differences. Does it, does it look different? The difference in the moving, all that stuff. See, right off the bat, that moved. So did that one. The little yellow centers. Are moving. Okay, get that down in all of them. this. Ooh, that puts a lot of glue on. This could be just regular glue for all I know. I have no idea what the difference is. It smells like regular glue. It looks like regular glue, so. But it says it's specifically formulated for this. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more. I think I'm going to do to this butterfly. And then I'll leave these two alone. And we'll see if it looks real different. Is it a lot shinier? Do they actually stay in place better? I can't see why they wouldn't if it's just glue. You do have to get it in the nooks because, you know, them little nooks and crannies, because that's actually what's going to keep hold of it, because the bottoms are on the bottom, right? So if we just went over the top, that wouldn't work so well. So we will do the butterfly, get that in there. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and that'll leave this and this without the glue, and we'll be able to check it out. Okay. And compare. See, it seemed to me she just kind of wiped at it. But if you do too much wiping at it, it's going to move it. And if it's going to dry clear anyways. Okay, let me see if I can get the glue off of this one with the wipe. It feels like it's getting it. Now let me show you. So here is the butterfly where I started. And it is starting to dry there. It's drying clear. It's drying pretty quickly, honestly. So if you do want to wipe the top of it, I wouldn't wait too long. Here you can see it's not drying as much because it's newer. There's the butterfly. I just did these. I haven't done. So well, now wait. I will come back in a little bit and we'll check and see. I should probably always just use a tub of glue, as much trouble as I have. Ensure you apply only a very thin layer of sealer to retain the sparkle. Always replace the lid. Okay. Take a thin brush and apply a very thin layer. Try to apply the sealer between the crystals. Wash off any excess with a baby wipe. Leave to dry for at least 4 to 6 hours. If you want to make it thinner, mix with distilled water. Distilled water. That could be important. So I didn't apply a very thin layer on these other ones. I went pretty thick. These ones here, I did do a thin layer. But I'm not going to mess with it no more. We're going to wait and see what difference it makes on this. I am going to say, though, right now, this went very well last night. Because for me, I like to use one letter at a time and try to get all of that letter done. So I'm not having to keep bringing, you just doing a little bit at a time. If you're just doing one thing at a time, you're constantly back and forth with the crystals. So when I got some done over here and some done over here, and maybe there was a little bit over here, that carrier sheet that covers it really quit working. So if you think you're going to just leave it, know that if you are over here and over here and over here, and maybe, it's not sticking anymore to protect that glue. So that was something else I wanted to let you know about, because, you might leave it and not get to it for a few days, and you come back, and I don't know if the glue will stay good or not, but I'm just saying it's not protected anymore because these are holding that thing above where the sticky is now, right? Makes sense. So, let me think. Was there anything else? I can't think of anything else. So, I will be back. I'm going to post this right away as soon as I can. And then I will be back in like 4 to 6 hours to check it. I'll probably come back in like 4 hours. I might even come back in a couple hours. And I'll just keep posting the videos as I'm checking the sealer. Alright, everybody. If you like my video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for joining me. I hope you join me again. Everybody have a blessed day. Bye-bye now.